and I'm on the go. Blowing them trees when I'm on the road. DJ spin it and they on the floor, but it seems these motherfuckers still don't know. I'ma call this freestyle my cash flow. Tighter than a belt on the last hole. Kidel Castro. Whenever the females ask for the lasso, send them to the nigga that sag low.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we back with some more of that Ali Land Daily Boxing Talk, people. And today we talking, can Manny Pacquiao beat Crawford and Spence in 2021? Alright, y'all, so, after watching Terence Crawford destroy Kell Brook and watching Errol Spence Jr. pick apart Danny Garcia, the question on all boxing fans' mind is, will Manny Pacquiao fight one of these guys or potentially both of these guys in 2021? Me personally, they're both likable guys. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. both bring something different to the table. Crawford with his ambidextrous style and his hand speed, that's an attribute Errol Spence doesn't have. And Errol Spence with his power and his ability to control the ring with his size, which is an attribute Terence Crawford doesn't have. But I think Manny Pacquiao is he's the antithesis of both of these guys, or he's like a blend of both of these guys, but what he doesn't have is he doesn't have the ability to go both ways like Terence Crawford does, and he doesn't have the ability to control the ring with his size in the way that Errol Spence does. But what he does bring to the table is killer foot speed, which I don't think Terence Crawford has, and he has the ability to control the ring with his speed in a way that Errol Spence can't. Pacquiao can get to spots that certain fighters can't get to because they're, for lack of a better word, sluggish in their foot speed category. Pacquiao's very special when it comes to his foot speed. I know everybody focuses on his hand speed and his power, but his foot speed is one of the most amazing attributes that Pacquiao brings to the table. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that, a lot of people feel like he can beat Spence for some reason, but he can't beat Crawford, and I don't really understand the logic behind that. If he can beat Spence, who is the bigger, stronger of the two, I don't understand why people don't think he can take down Crawford. Crawford's he's the smaller of the two guys, and I just don't feel like Crawford's been battle tested in the same way that Errol Spence has. And I want to touch on another point. Everybody keeps saying, and I hear a lot of people say that, the older Pacquiao gets, the more his skills are going to degrade. And now this is something that people have to understand. And I'm sorry if I keep doing that, but it is what it is, man. This is something that people have to understand. You don't just lose your abilities because normal people say you're losing your abilities. The average person, once they hit a certain age, yes, they do start to lose their abilities. That's because they live like the average person, and these guys are athletes, and they're the highest level of athletes because they're doing something most athletes don't have to do, with the exception of maybe a rugby or a football or MMA, professional wrestling to a lesser extent. But these guys, they're built to take punishment, man. They go through a lot of training to take punishment. So I would never say these guys get degraded because they're getting older. You should look at the Mike Tyson Roy Jones fight that just happened and be able to take something from that. And the fact that Tyson really doesn't look like he lost. He could have knocked Roy Jones out very easily, and you could completely see that Tyson was holding back in that fight. So, you know, this man is 50-something years old, and with the ability to destroy the average human being. Yes, if he was the average human being, I would say, you know, when he hit 40, 50 years old, his skill sets are going to start to degrade. But as long as these guys live a clean life, you know, and they stay on top of their training, I don't see why they can't go up until their 50s, you know, at least. You know, I wouldn't be putting a 60-year-old man into a boxing ring professionally, but up until their 50s to a certain extent. And I want to say another thing about age, man. This is the thing that people really, really have to understand. You know, let me use an analogy. Michael Jordan, at his age now, still has the ability to beat every ordinary man in the game of basketball. You know, he didn't retire because he was getting older. He was actually forced out of the game because they didn't want to pay him what he deserved, and they didn't want to have to pay Phil Jackson what he deserved at the same time. It was a money issue, not a issue of his skill sets degrading. And I feel the same way about Manny Pacquiao. I don't feel like his skill sets are degrading. I actually feel like his skill sets are getting better as he ages, because he's becoming a smarter boxer after the Marquez knockout. You know, he's becoming he's learning to slow down and pace himself during these fights, so that his abilities still carry him to the 12th round if necessary. So at no point will you ever hear me say, well, just because he's in his early to mid 40s, that he should retire, and his age should be the reason that he's retiring. I don't feel like that. I feel like, you know, as long as Pacquiao's living a clean life and he's staying on top of his training, he can go as long as he wants to go. And, you know, to be completely honest, you know, Bob Arum is the reason he's not at Top Rank anymore. Bob Arum didn't want to pay Manny Pacquiao what he deserved, is the reason he's not at Top Rank anymore. He felt like, okay, well, this guy's getting older. Either he's going to have to come down on the money, or I don't need him anymore. And you can tell that that's the fact, because Terence Crawford is what, 10 years younger than Manny Pacquiao almost, and he's doing Crawford the same way. And it's not because Crawford doesn't have skill sets. It's the fact that Crawford is costing him money because he's not a braggadocious, out in the public kind of guy. He doesn't sell his own fights, you know, unfortunately for him. Now, as far as can he beat both of these guys in 2021, I think he possesses the skill to beat anybody you put in front of him. You know, I would say that he could knock both of these guys out if he really, really wants to. But, you know, it's going to have to be shown and proven. And another thing is, I don't think he should be forced to fight both of these guys, and especially not in the same year, especially with them trying to say he needs to defend that title or be stripped. A lot of things coming up in 2021, man. I just want to know y'all's opinion. Can Manny Pacquiao beat Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Bud Crawford in 2021? You know, it's your boy Cardinal Red. Like always, believe in yourself, follow your dreams, man, and your dreams will come true. Tell everybody you know about Cardinal Red and Ollie Land Boxing Talk, your mama, your daddy, cat, dog, the man on the moon, so we can grow this platform as big as we can get it. And with your help, I can accomplish that. We can accomplish that. It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we are out of here.
And I'm on the go, blowing them trees when I'm on the road. DJ spin it and they on the flow, but it seems these motherfuckers still don't know. I'ma call this freestyle my cash flow, tighter than a belt on the last hoe. Kidel Castro, whenever the females ask for the lasso, send them to the nigga that sag low.